Hello guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Hit the bell icon button so that you don't miss out any tutorial.
Hello, my name's Mike Clayton. Have you found that sometimes you just don't get enough done? Have you found that sometimes what you're doing is what matters most to the people around you rather than to you yourself? If you've had those problems, then it's time to learn how to say no. Because many of us find that our time management techniques, the techniques that can make us more productive, work really well up to a certain point. And it's at that point when we discover that what we're doing, whilst very productive, is producing the wrong things. It's working towards the wrong ends. When you need more time still, and all of your time management techniques have run out, there really is only one last recourse. And that last recourse is the toughest one of all. It's learning how to say no more effectively. And while you're learning how to say no more effectively, you also need to know when to say yes and when to say no. This program is designed for you. It's designed for people who find they want more time to do the things that matter to them. For people who want to be able to say yes or no in a more considered fashion, and who want the skills to be able to look someone in the eye and to say no confidently, assertively, and courteously. Just a little bit selfish to you? It shouldn't, because there's a wonderful paradox around this. What we find is the people who make more time for doing the things they care about, for achieving what they really want in the world, also tend to be the people who are better able to support and care for the people around them. They're the people who find the energy and the time to give to their friends, to their family, and to their trusted colleagues. So, if you want more out of your life, if you want to achieve more that is really and truly worthwhile, then you need to master the art of saying no. You need to learn how to say no and take back control of your life. The question I'm sure you're asking is, what will I get if I learn how to say no more effectively? And there are 6 principal things that you can expect to get. And the first is the time to meet all of your commitments and to do them well. Because when you take control of your urge to say yes to everything, you can focus on doing fewer things, you'll have more time for them, and therefore you will do them better. And you'll feel less pressured about it too. So there's a good chance that you'll enjoy doing them more as well. So this will give you more satisfaction from the things that you do. One of the things we know is when you concentrate on the work that you're doing, when you can give it all of your attention and all of your focus, then you start to fall into what is known as a flow state, and flow states are the optimum state for us to be in, because flow states give us joy and pleasure from the work we're doing. We're constantly aware of what we're achieving, and we're constantly focused on doing better. And of course, when you can focus, you can focus on doing the most important things. And that really starts to make a difference, because as you let go of the less important things, the significance of what you achieve increases, and you'll really start to feel like you're making real progress with your goals, with your projects, with your career, with your day-to-day work, and of course with your life. And when you're focused on fewer things, you also feel that you have more control over your workload. You are able to schedule things further in advance, make better plans. And when you've made better plans, it's easier to reject those interruptions and disturbances that constantly get in your way and frustrate you. You can start to balance how much you set out to achieve in a day and how much time you give over to rest, to relaxation, and to recreation. And of course, when you're achieving more, and when you're doing so in a more relaxed and positive manner, then people will start to have a greater respect for you. No longer are you a yes man or a yes woman who does everything and meets every demand that people bring to you, like some shallow sapling that blows around in the breeze. No, now you're someone who knows your own mind and focuses on what's really important and gets it done. And finally, because you're able to focus and because you have that sense of satisfaction from getting things done, you're going to have more time to relax and enjoy your life. Imagine that, achieving more by doing less and having more time to enjoy the rewards of what you've achieved. So why is it so important to be able to say no? Because without the ability to say no, you have no control over your life. If you're not able to say no in a confident, assertive and courteous way, then other people will control your life and what you do with it. When you follow the advice in this program and learn how to say no, and equally important, how to determine when to say no, then you can start to take back control. You will start to own your own life. Come with me on the journey, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside of this. I know that you find it difficult to use the word no. And you know you find it difficult, and you're probably wondering why. Why is such a small, simple word so difficult to use? And the answer is because a tendency that all of us have. It's that tendency when someone asks us for something, just to say yes. And so at the end of a busy day, you get home and you feel that you've been busy all day, but you've achieved very little, maybe even nothing worthwhile. You've become a victim of the gopher. The gopher is my word for your tendency to go for this and to go for that, to go for whatever it takes, to go for whatever offer that comes your way. And we do this for 3 reasons. And the first is what I call autopilot. Because when someone asks you to do something, you often don't think about it very carefully. They catch you in a moment and you have a stock default polite response, yeah. Or worse still, the 4 words that you'll hear yourself saying time after time after time as you go through your working life, and yet you know that as soon as you've said them, you're going to regret them. 4 words: leave it with me. That's your autopilot. But even if you're not prey to autopilot, there's another thing that's going on, and that's your need to please. Because aren't we all just a little worried that if we say no to somebody, we'll disappoint them, we'll upset them, they will no longer like us, respect us, be our friends? That need to please is so important in all of us. And it leads us to say yes to things that we would rather not do. Indeed, we know we really ought not to do. And there's a third reason as well, and it's known as maximising, the desire to maximise what you've got. Which is ironic, of course, because as soon as we say yes to something, we reduce our opportunities to get what's really important to us. But every request, every question, every opportunity carries with it the chance of something good. And the risk of saying no is the risk that we won't get that good thing. We won't seize that opportunity. Our desire to maximise every opportunity leads us to say yes, even when we know we shouldn't. Let's take a look at all of this in a little more detail. The gopher is your unconscious drive to say yes and to go for it. And there's a lot of psychology that underlies the reason why each of us has an inner gopher. Let's look at 4 basic problems that underlie the gopher mentality. And the first is the threat of consequences, the thought about what might happen as a result of saying no. Maybe you're worried about arguments, confrontations, standoffs, conflict. None of us like any of that, so perhaps it's easier just to say yes. And we also talked about maximising a few moments ago and the loss of opportunities. Indeed, one of the most powerful techniques that advertisers use and salespeople use is the one last chance gambit. If you say no now, you may never ever get another chance. It's perhaps safer to say yes. It's one of the most powerful persuaders there is, and so that fear of loss and what we might fail to gain by saying no weighs heavily in our minds. The second concern we often have is how we might look to others if we say no. You probably think that you're a nice person. Are you the sort of person who says no? Can a nice person be the sort of person who says no? In your mind, you're probably worried that they can't. So what you have to do is to start to separate being nice and being easily compliant. It's perfectly possible to be a nice person and yet to have your own mind and to make your own choices. And we don't want to look bad. We want to impress people. We want to impress people with what we can do. And many people got to where they have got in their careers and in their lives by being good at saying yes and by being good at fulfilling their commitments. No starts to feel like a weakness. And of course, as soon as we start to raise the question of a weakness, there's the possibility that someone will point to you and say, "No? Are you sure? Are you scared? Are you frightened? Are you worried you won't be able to?" And suddenly your hackles rise. You rise to the bait and you say, "All right, okay." You've fallen for it. How you appear to someone has nothing to do with whether you say yes or no, and everything to do with what you say yes or no to, and how you say yes or no. But there's that concern, isn't there? That third basic problem, the response you might get from the person you say no to. Maybe they'll be offended. But there's nothing wrong with saying no. It is not in itself offensive. It's a choice. Maybe you'll hurt their feelings. But is this person as fragile as you fear? Maybe they'll dislike you. Yeah, maybe they will for a while. But the question is, will they respect you if you say yes to everything? Dislike is not what counts. Because people will respect you if you say yes or no to the right things. And when they respect you, that's when they start to like you. And finally, you may be worried about disappointing people, about letting them down. But most of the times people have alternative options. And if you're one of those people who says yes to everything, then you are their default position. They'll come to you because it's easy. Chances are they've got many, many backups. And then of course there's your own feelings. How you might feel if you say no, because many of us take deep pride in our ability to say yes and our ability to get things done. I'm one of those just do it kind of people. And you want to help as well. You want to feel useful and valuable. You want to show what you're able to do. By saying no, you're giving that up. But are you? Because by saying no to things that don't matter, you're better able to take pride in achieving the things that do matter. By saying no to the things that are less important, you're increasing your ability to help people with the things that really are important. So, you may want to say yes. You may feel the gopher urging you to go for this and to go for that. There are lots and lots of reasons why that urging will be powerful in you, but resist it. In the next lecture, we'll go even deeper into 6 psychological drivers that drive us to say yes and therefore frustrate your ability to say no. We saw many reasons why, psychologically, the gopher drives you to say yes and go for this and go for that. In this lecture, I want to take it a little bit deeper. I want to look at the work of a psychologist called Taibi Kahler, who looked at what people need psychologically to do if they're to feel okay about themselves. And Kahler catalogued 5 drivers that drive our behaviours. And we feel that if we can accede to these drivers, that's what we need to do in order to feel okay about ourselves. So in this lecture, we're going to look at 5 drivers that Taibi Kahler described to help us feel okay, and how they can subvert your ability to say no. The driver to be perfect. The driver to be strong. The driver to please others. The driver to try hard. And the driver to hurry up. And as a little bonus, we'll look at a 6th driver that Taibi Kahler didn't consider. One that other authors have suggested might also work in the same way, the driver to be careful. These 6 drivers can account for a lot of the reasons why you and I find it hard to say no. Your be perfect driver is your inner perfectionist, that need to establish patterns and rituals of work, to be properly organised, to focus on details. It leaves you critical of yourself and often of others too. But it also means that you feel highly responsible. And saying anything other than yes feels like you're going to let yourself and other people down. And if you do that, you won't be perfect. What you need to tell yourself is that you're good enough as you are, and that saying no is not a sign that you're not perfect. Quite the opposite. Saying no shows that you're in control. Your be strong driver is the driver that leads you to want to show how powerful and strong you are. It leads you to hide your feelings and suppress your own wants and needs. When you get stressed, you withdraw and you just get on with it. You're often calm in a crisis, but you need to be able to show that you can be stoical, you can get your head down, you can cope. So what do? You take on more and more. You're driven to say yes to everything because you fear that if you don't, then you won't be strong. What you need to do is to let yourself accept your own needs and wants and be strong enough to say no to other people's needs and wants and assert yourself. The please others driver leads you to put other people first. You're often a very gregarious, outgoing person, caring, nurturing, a team player, who can also be quite neglectful of your own feelings and your own needs. People with a strong please others driver often check their words to avoid upsetting people. They're very cautious about what they do and say because they're afraid of displeasing the people around them and losing their liking and respect. So what do? They say yes to please others. But you know what? You have to please yourself sometimes, because if you don't, nobody else will. They'll just take advantage of you and you'll become a doormat. People with a strong try-hard driver get easily bored, easily distracted. They like stimulation, novelty and excitement. They're poorly organised and they're often not very good at finishing things. They just like starting things. They're creative, they're playful, they're even rebellious. They're good in groups, but they don't like to take the lead. So what do? They say yes to everything because everything is a novelty. Saying yes to something new relieves them, in their mind, of the sense of obligation to finish what they've already committed to. So don't try hard. Just do it. Do what you commit to and say no to distractions and diversions that will stop you. The hurry-up driver leads to a rush, busy lifestyle. You take on everything. Often, the Gopher is totally in command of the hurry-up person. They get lots done, but often at last minute, sometimes quite slapdash. They talk quickly and they're not very good at listening. If you've got a strong hurry-up driver, then you'll find that quantity is more important to you often than quality. You like to multitask, and you know what? Because you can, you take on more and more and more, and you say yes to this, and you say yes to that, and the Gopher goes for this, and the Gopher goes for that. Slow down. Take your time. Start saying no to things that get in the way of doing the things that matter properly. Then you can really focus on those and hurry up and get some really good and powerful results. Are you one of those people for whom making mistakes feels catastrophic? You worried about losing what you've got? Does risk really scare you? If it does, then you've got a powerful, be careful driver. You know, with a strong, be careful driver, it's always just a little bit worrying to say no. Be careful, you might lose something important. No feels dangerous, feels possibly even careless. And you don't want to take chances because you might be losing something of real value. Well, you know what? Be careful you don't say yes to too many things and lose the opportunity to do what matters. So what are these drivers? Well, the theory is quite simple. At some point in our childhood, we become anxious about ourselves. And we all have had anxieties as children. But we pick up messages from our parents, our carers, the people around us, that if we do certain things, we'll be all right. If we hurry up, get ready for school quickly, if we're careful, if we be strong and don't cry, then we'll be all right. We pick these up as children, so they're like solid rocks in our lives that block us from doing what we choose to do by stopping us from saying no about the things we ought not to take on. It's time to learn the what of no. It's time to learn what to say yes to and what to say no to.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, do give us a thumbs up and share it. Also check out amazing discounts and offers on our premium courses in the description below.